Hey everybody, this is my week 2 discussion. I apologize for missing the memo to not join the live. I definitely prefer the live to um, getting on here and just rambling about my thoughts. I prefer the connection and the um, feedback that the rest of the group has to offer. Anyway, I will answer the questions here. Um, So for me, well, I guess not for me, just my response to what does it mean for a counselor to bracket personal values essentially just means that we're not imposing our personal views on the client and making sure that our education and our professionalism is guiding them to come to their own understanding and acceptance of what they're going through. It's not our counseling session. We're just there to kind of help provide structure and to provide a non judgmental reflection and um, also to share kind of like different ideas that somebody can use to better themselves. And by sharing our personal views, that doesn't really fit that category. Um, I understand that can be difficult because it's easy to have personal opinions when somebody brings something that is controversial to your session. Um, however, I think that's really important, and that's what makes a good counselor is when somebody can bracket those two parts. Um, for the second question, I I've had really good luck with counselors, honestly. I got to a point in my life where I didn't really trust anybody but counselors. I've never had a situation where I felt anything inappropriate towards a counselor as far as like connections. But um, my current counselor is kind of younger. She has a similar, I guess, sense of humor to things, and she always reflects like how resilient I am, and like we laugh about similar things. So um, I really truly think we could be friends outside of a professional relationship. Um, and I really appreciate her opinions sometimes when I'm like wrestling through some of these concepts that we're learning in class as I go through this degree program. But um, other than marriage counseling, I've only had female counselors. So, I think that kind of helps too. Like, um, my first counselor, I started seeing when my son was about 4 months old, and I saw her up until like last year. So that was like 6 or 7 years that I was with the same counselor, and she saw me through a lot, and I trusted her with a lot, and I was vulnerable with a lot of things that I wouldn't necessarily have felt comfortable sharing with anybody else. So, I think it's really important to have that connection with people that you're trusting to help you. Um, that's not really something you can like choose for a client though. We present who we are, and they either like what we have to offer or they don't. I mean, that's really just like a personal relationship thing, and that's not really something that we can change. Um, and then as far as the case study, um, personally, that's not something I would do. I don't think that it's fair to take advantage of your power in a superior role like Chloe did. And I don't think that it's smart to have political differences. My ex husband and I had some political differences, and it caused a lot of contention in our relationship. We had a lot of political differences, religious differences, ethical differences, and um, so on and so forth. And you can see why I got divorced. Um, but I think that it's really important to maintain professionalism within your workplace. And while I wouldn't engage in that type of relationship, I understand why somebody might engage in that. You're with these people every single day, depending on the type of job that you have. You may be in really intense situations, and that those types of environments can create intense feelings, connections, trust in work partners, and things like that. So, um, yeah, I think it's really important to maintain that bracketing for Alex's sake. Obviously, you know, to say to him, this isn't something that I would engage in. However, you know, there is there is still a way to be a professional counselor and support your client what they're going through without sharing your personal opinions. So those are my thoughts for this week, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the group chat this week.